This was posted by Secretary Doug Burgum yesterday. He's the Secretary of the Interior and Chairman of the National Energy Dominance Council, serving under the leadership of President Trump. American energy dominance agenda is working. He has secured over $5 trillion in investments to support American energy, manufacturing, artificial intelligence, and more. $5,000 billion. And this was also posted yesterday by the U.S. Department of Energy. Small but mighty small modular reactors, or SMRs, are helping transform the nuclear sector and launch America's nuclear renaissance. This is crazy. So Google announces Tennessee as a site for small nuclear reactor, or small modular nuclear reactor. And that's the Google building. And let's see, Google sign pictured on a Google building in Manhattan borough of New York City. Okay, so that's not in Tennessee. So it's just some stock photograph of Google. So Google partners with TVA, Kairos Power, for a nuclear project, the first U.S. utility power purchase agreement for generation, what is that, 4 or 6? No, that's 4. I'm terrible with Roman numerals. So generation 4 nuclear, and project supports U.S. AI dominance and energy leadership, says Energy Secretary. So this is from New York. August 18th was the original publication of this article. And they had to make a couple of changes. They accidentally said 50 gigawatts, but they actually meant 50 megawatts. But they've already corrected it. So let's see. So Google, with Kairos Power, has selected Tennessee as the site of an advanced nuclear power plant that is expected to supply electricity to the big tech companies' data centers in the U.S. Southeast starting in 2030, the companies said on Monday. Can you believe 2030 is only 5 years away? That's crazy. So why does this matter? Big tech is requiring massive amounts of electricity to scale up technologies like generative artificial intelligence and energy-intensive data centers. Those record energy needs are driving U.S. power consumption to new highs and propelling the development of fresh power sources like next-generation nuclear energy. This Tennessee reactor is the first to be deployed as part of Google's corporate agreement announced last year to buy nuclear energy from multiple small modular reactors. The deal would support 500 megawatts of advanced nuclear capacity, which is enough to power about 350,000 homes, to be developed by California-based nuclear company Kairos. The 50-megawatt small modular nuclear power plant will be built in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, under a long-term power purchase agreement with utility Tennessee Valley Authority to deliver electricity to Google data centers locally and in the state of Alabama. Key quote. So, quote, this collaboration with TVA, Kairos Power, and the Oak Ridge community will accelerate the deployment of innovative nuclear technologies and help support the needs of our growing digital economy while also bringing firm carbon-free energy to the electricity system, end quote, said Google's Amanda Peterson-Corio. The project marks the first time a U.S. utility has signed a power purchase agreement for so-called Generation 4 nuclear power, which is generally seen as the most sustainable and safe form of nuclear power technologies in development, the company said. Energy Secretary weighs in. The deployment of advanced nuclear reactors is essential to U.S. AI dominance and energy leadership, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said in a statement announcing the site selection. Quote, the Department of Energy has assisted Kairos Power with overcoming technical, operational, and regulatory challenges as a participant in the Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program, and the Department of Energy will continue to help accelerate the next American nuclear renaissance. And currently, there are no commercially available advanced nuclear power plants in the U.S. So I've got this from Grok. And I asked Grok, what is a small modular nuclear reactor? A small modular nuclear reactor, SMR, is a compact, factory-built nuclear reactor with a power capacity typically under 300 megawatts, designed for easier deployment, scalability, and enhanced safety compared to traditional large reactors. So how many small modular nuclear reactors can be built each year? And Grok stated, currently there are no small modular nuclear reactors that are being mass-produced, with only a few operational prototypes that are currently worldwide, such as Russia and China. Factory-based production is projected to enable anywhere from 10 to 500 units per year once scaled, depending on design and demand, with global deployment potentially reaching 50 to 150 gigawatts annually by mid-century, which is equivalent to 167 to 500 units at 300 megawatts each. That is so much power, man. What about the Oak Ridge, Tennessee manufacturer, though? Kairos Power is the primary Oak Ridge, Tennessee-based manufacturer for small modular nuclear reactors, constructing its Hermes low-power demonstration reactor, which is 35 megawatts thermal, at Heritage Center Industrial Park, with modules factory-built in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for assembly on site. Operational targeted for 2027, supported by $303 million from the Department of Energy funding and partnerships with TVA and ORNL. Nano Nuclear Energy also established a technology headquarters in Oak Ridge in 2024 for portable microreactor development, though not yet manufacturing SMRs at scale. It just makes you wonder, is that how factories in the future are going to be receiving their electricity? They're going to be mass producing these miniature nuclear reactors, and they're going to ship them to factories, and they're just going to obtain their electricity from that. Probably similar to what they're doing on aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines, right? I mean, that's what they're powered with. They're powered by nuclear power. So a submarine, a nuclear-powered submarine, it could theoretically stay underneath the ocean for 35 years and still be a full power. The same with an aircraft carrier. I mean, it's got virtually a limitless amount of power because it's powered by a nuclear reactor on board. So that kind of begs the question for me, eventually will we get to a point where each household will have a small nuclear reactor? It doesn't necessarily have to transform water into steam. I'm thinking the nuclear reactor that's on board of the newest Mars rover that's rolling around up on Mars right now, it's got a thermonuclear reactor on its back, and it's producing enough energy for it to get around. Although it's extremely slowly, it's probably not producing very much electricity at all, but it just makes me wonder, eventually are we going to get to the point where we're buying nuclear reactors at Home Depot like we're buying water heaters? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see.